her final resting place, was that just naturally what she was wearing? You didn't change her or anything like that? Okay.
Did you have to see any of that stuff? Pictures or anything? No?
I asked not to.
Okay.
They said I could. I was like, no, I don't want. I've prayed for those hazmat workers. That I'm sure it was hazmat, right? I had the.
They were part of it.
Yeah. And like,
We were all there.
We were all there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I never wanted to see it. I just prayed for that. I'd rather have to be there. I never wanted to know what the aftermath was. And they said, like, you know, if this ever got like a preliminary hearing, that I would have to see him just to be prepared and not have a reaction, an initial reaction. But I was like, I don't want to see him.
Do you feel like your lawyers were fair to you? Yeah.
Yeah, they were my only human contact, really.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, almost like a guidance counselor, almost.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were driving the bus, though? With your decisions you made?
Yeah,
no?
I was like, there's a lot of things I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Like,
sure.
Maybe there was a lot of things they never told me. Like, like stuff that came out, like, afterwards. Like, the whole Nikki Kessinger article in the Denver Post and all that kind of stuff. They told me, like, afterwards and everything. But it was... I always felt like anything I was telling them, they were going to do. Like, the whole taking the plea deal and everything, I told them that's what I wanted to do. And they asked me, like, seems like 100 times, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like, once you sign this, like, I guess up until sentencing, I had the time to, like, back out. But, like, they always, even before we walked in the court, were like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, okay. They never told me this is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They always just said, this is your decision, like, if you want to take this farther, and John said he was right, he had all kinds of motions written and all kinds of stuff that were, like, really creative, and because he'd never been in something like this before, and he was ready to fight, and I was just like, I didn't want you to have to do that. Not for me, not for something that the story isn't true. Because it would just only gotten worse.
Right.
For everybody. For all three of you, for everybody that was involved in it.
Are you still glad you did?
Yeah, I never thought I'd be in prison the rest of my life, but like I don't want people to have to keep going through this every day of their lives, knowing that, there's a trial hanging over their head, or, if it ever got that far, I don't know. Yeah. But, like, I didn't want people to have to relive it every day. Yeah. Did they have to ever see the pictures?
Did you say that again?
Did they have to ever see the pictures? Frank and Sandy and all that?
No, they never saw it.
They saw some things.
They didn't see anything of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we shielded that from them.
That's one thing. I just didn't want them to have to see anything or hear anybody talk about any part of it. Or, like, anybody bashed their daughter, like anybody to ruin, like, to hear what, some of my friends had a negative, impact on her, from her, or like had a description of her that didn't match, something like that. I didn't want them to hear that either. Like, I didn't want them, like, anybody had to trash her memory. Like, I wanted, like, them to know, like, she's loving life, she's beautiful, she always helped everybody else, all her friends, her Lucas friends, everybody. I didn't want anybody to take away from what she did.
We tried to get you to say that night, I know, but do you remember that?
I remember, I was just like...
I know you obviously weren't ready to say that then.
I know, it's like, like after my dad left, we both came in, like, all right, we got most of the story. Let's get to the true story. I'm just like, I just wanted to bang my head against the table.
But in the end, I think you did the right thing. And even though it's hard to hear, there's a lot of people who thank you for what you did. I think your whole life has been thinking of others, except for one brief moment. You know, I think you really did think of others when you made that choice. So I personally thank you, right? Because it would have been hard for the three of us to go through about this hard and for everyone else about that hard, right?
Yeah, it was anybody that was family or friends.
Right.
It would have been, just exponentially harder for everybody.
Yeah. I think you did the right thing.
So you haven't told your parents what happened? You just told them I'm pleading guilty for a reason?
Yeah, I've told them, like, on the phone, even, because they're still, I don't know,
You should fight it. You should get...
they've got letters from, like, Australia, from England, of, like, the 35C in Colorado and stuff, like, improper counsel or something like that.
Ineffective counsel.
Ineffective counsel. And, some of the stuff they've said about, the dry patch, how it's not, like, FDA approved, how it can alter somebody's mind, there was some kind of condition, but there's something else they call, like, CPSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, something like that. Have been, like, some people from England have had it. It's like they've been in an emotionally abusive relationship and stuff like that. It's like, some of those subjects they put in there, like, yeah, I can relate to it, but, like, it doesn't make up for the fact what happened. But, like, they've got a lot of support they've got a lot of hate mail, a lot of phone calls, a lot of, like, stuff like that. I wish they never happened. But they get some support, which is good. But on the phone, they still think, there's a chance that I could get out.
Yeah. You don't want to ever think your kid's going away forever. Like,
you
don't want to fathom that.
They tell me to fight it, like, they don't, not every day, but on their bad days, they'll get a bad message or a bad letter, and they'll just kind of revert back.
Is it more your mom or your dad?
My mom, she loses it a lot.
Yeah.
On the phone, my dad's usually trying to, like, hey, don't talk about this stuff on the phone with him. Because it's just gonna rile you up, and it's gonna make him go back to his cell, and he's gonna just kind of think about that all night.
Right.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
So they're coming. I think they're gonna try to make a visit in, like, May or so.
So do they still think that Shanann killed the girls?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason, but they think that I was, their words, like, railroaded by belief.
Yeah.
Because they felt like they pressured me to do it.
Yeah. Do you feel like that?
No.
No.
They asked me plenty of times. This is like, they wanted to fight. Like, if I said fight, they would have just, gone and...
Put on their gloves.
Yeah. Just went in there and did it. Yeah, it's like, no, I can't have you do that.
So, Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it? Okay.
I have to say, like, after this was all over, people would bring up, like, oh my gosh, I bet you're going to find out that Chris, used to torture animals and, all this stuff. You can imagine, like, hearing that someone's capable of that, what have they done in their past, those kinds of things. Can you think back to your past at all, like your childhood, and think about any other moments that maybe you felt this same rage? Obviously didn't do anything like that, but maybe felt that rage, and, like, what would have triggered that, or anything like that?
Not really. I was always, like, somebody that tried to coax people down, not to, like, if somebody wanted to fight somebody else. I didn't get in a fight, like, when I was in 3rd grade, but it was like, we ripped each other's shirt, when do I cry?
Mm-hmm.
It was, like, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, why did I do that? And, like, maybe that was, like, my only, like, bad thing I did in school. So I can't think of it.
Did you feel it on the inside, whether you didn't act it out? Like, did you feel like if someone bullied you at school, or if someone, whatever, like, would it still be inside you? Like, did you feel like that even though you didn't actually act on it?
I don't believe, because I was always, I never really talked to many people. So I never, people knew who I was, but they didn't really, I never really spoke to many people. That's why I never had a girlfriend in high school. I was always kind of, like, just fly under the radar.
Did you feel like you had low self-esteem?
won't say low self-esteem. It was just like I didn't want to be part of like a group or a clique. I just like, I had a couple friends. I sat at the lunch table with them, and or sat out in they call it like the fish pond area, and just chilled out there. And I didn't really want a whole lot of friends. Just kind of like just close knit. I just wasn't out there. I mean, like I said, people knew who I was, but it wasn't matter of like I wasn't popular or anything.
Mm-hmm. Can you attribute that to anything in your childhood? Why you were like
my
that?
sister was always the popular one. She was more like my mom, like more like outgoing, and like me and my grandma would always sit outside in middle school waiting for her to come out and pick her up, and she'd always be the last one out because she'd talk to everybody and all. And my grandma would always like, "Where's she at? Does she know we're waiting?" But I was just the opposite of her. And I was like, sometimes you have kids that are like the same, and some of you have opposite. Me and my sister were completely opposite. Maybe I just drew on that I didn't want to be the popular one. I wanted to be just just a regular guy. So there was not really like bullying or not like I remember. Nobody ever really came up to me or wanted to fight me or.
Never got made fun of. Never.
Nah, I mean I had braces and I had like a bowl cut for a while. I guess it could have made me fun.
I think most kids did.
The 80s and 90s were cruel.
Yeah, it's like a Jim Carrey cut with pull on your head. Come around, but yeah, I don't think there was anything that would be pimped up inside me
From childhood. I know you talked about your dad having an addiction when I was talking to you.
That was after I left. I left home.
Was it cocaine or something? Or
it was some type of powder. I'm not sure if I guess it's cocaine. I guess
How do you think that affected you?
I don't think it affected me. Well, it did affect me, but it didn't like take like deep down. It didn't like really hurt as much as I thought it would. It was kind of weird because when my thing with my mom and my sister told me, like when they talked to him about it, it didn't seem to register. Like I said, like he would just change subject. And like when I talked about it, he immediately changed the subject. I was like, because they found like cuts on his like CDs and stuff where he would like separate it and stuff like that. Because he car dealership, I mean, find guys that do that kind of stuff all the time, I guess. But he was just coping with like I never came back home, and because before I met Shanann, and it was just.
Did you feel guilty that he's now using drugs because you never came back home, like he lost his kid?
No, I never really knew why he was doing it. After the fact, I knew it was because he was coping with that, but I never knew why he really actually turned to drugs. My mom thought he was having an affair because like, all this money was going somewhere else just for the drugs, but like I'm not myself, I never used drugs, so I always try to tell him like, hey, like what's going on? Like why you need to use this? And just like you could using this for a whole lot better things. Just don't throw your life away. I mean, like because you could see in his face, like it's like eyes or like everything was getting like like the drugs through your face and like your skin was getting all loose and like he was losing a lot of weight. His nose was bleeding all the time and all kinds of stuff like that. And I just thought like, hey, you smoked like every day of your life since you were like 15 or 16. Like I can't get you to stop that, but I can get you to stop this.
Right.
And he put it away, I guess, pretty quick after I talked to him about it.
Do you think you were closer to your dad than your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always went to races together, and he always came to my sports, played for a couple school sports, right ball, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My mom would come to sometimes, but my dad was always there. Yeah. Even if I wasn't playing, he'd just come there just in case I can't win in there.
Aww.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I wondered if they hadn't visited because they weren't ready to visit, or if it was a money thing, or like
Visit here?
getting the time off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you like
Visit here?
Yeah, visit here.
Well, I just told him like, well, we can't drive in the snow, so it's kind of like I don't want.
These roads are bad.
Yeah, it's I think it's like an hour from either Madison Airport, whichever way it is. I told him like wait till springtime.
Good advice.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
It was yesterday.
Did they have money to get here?
They sold my toolbox to get some money to come out here.
Okay.
So yeah, so they'll come out here and like they said April, but I was like, no, just maybe push it till June. They said they come to have a blizzard out here in April
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
too. Like
the late spring blizzard, yeah.
so lake effect stuff is crazy.
Yeah. And how are you doing mentally?
I mean, the first time I didn't know I was coming here. Obviously, I mean, when I was at DRDC, like
Swooped you up, didn't you?
I was there a week. Like first day I got there, they put me through the ringer. Like I had like 11 tests to do, like mental tests, like reading, math, all kinds of stuff. Just to see where my IQ was, and then I just sat there the rest of the week. And then Sunday came along, and after dinner they said, "All right, strip down and put this on." I'm like, okay. And then walked outside and put me in the van. I'm just like, good. I had no idea what was going on. And then we stopped in Sterling, which really freaked me out. I was just like, I don't want to do this, because I heard so many horror stories about that place. And they just stopped to use the bathroom, and then we kept going.
In the prison? Do they use the bathroom at the prison?
Yeah, it was like at the watchtower outside.
Oh.
And we went into Nebraska, sheriff's office there, and then another sheriff's office in Iowa. Used the bathroom, eat breakfast, and then got here. I asked him, I only talked to him once. I'm like, can you tell me, like, where we're going? Like, just to Destination State? He was like, I don't know. So it was like one of those, like, transport vans, like, where it was, like, had just the middle where I was sitting there, and I could see out the window, and I could see, like, they would put in an address each time. Like, they had, like, 4 sets of addresses to each one they had to go to. They just would never tell me where we were going to end up.
What did they say your IQ was?
And I was like 140, 135 or something like that.
Is that high? I don't even know what.
That's good. That's above average.
Yeah. It was tipping back to high school for real. I'm like,
Main parts of the city and all that stuff.
yeah, there was a lot of word problems, a lot of like geometry, a lot of like patterns. Like if this was moved this way, and then there was like a series of them. Like, all right, what's this one gonna be? Just a lot of stuff like that. But like the further you got along, the harder it got. I was just like, it's like great. And it was like they give you this little take that pen and take the little tube out in the middle. That's where you're using to fill in these little Scantron sheets and everything. I felt like I was in high school again.
Do you know how long you're going to be here? Neither do I, by the way. Do you know, are you going to get a job?
Since I'm staying here, since I've gotten staffed here, they have to work.
Oh, so what's your job now?
I don't have one yet.
Okay.
They haven't moved me out of the assessment and evaluation
Are you still in that phase? Okay. And how long will that take?
Oh, right now, like since I've been staffed here, I'm just waiting for them to move me over to a different unit.
And are you in Gen Pop right now?
No, I'm in a unit. There's like 11 or 12 of us on there. There was like 22 when I first got there, but they've been transferred to the other prisons around Wisconsin.
And what are the other guys like?
They're fine. Like the first time, like I sat out and ate like a breakfast or lunch one, I was scared.
Are you nervous, scared?
I was just like, this hasn't happened. Like since this never happened.
Yeah.
Like I said, they locked the hallways down when I got moved to Colorado.
Well, I've heard that. Yeah.
So it was like being next, like right like this, eating next to somebody. I was just like, is he gonna like take a spork and try to stab me or something, or what? But it's totally different here. I mean, people know who I am, but like they don't like run at me or jump at me or like. Apparently they the guys that work here, they know that I guess other maxes are like you lock down like 23, 22 hours a day.
Oh, so then this isn't all right place to be?
For like other max guys.
Good.
They said it's the best max but the worst medium.
Oh.
Because if you're max, you're working, so you're out at your cell working, like if you're a clerk or if you're in the kitchen or if you're in the rec area, you're doing something.
Okay.
But yeah, they said like if you get stabbed here, it'll be best for you. Plus, they said it's not as like rowdy as some of the other places.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm going to the GP area. I just don't know when.
And you think it'll be while you're here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they said like I guess it could take it takes a while to get moved from max to medium because in Colorado I was classified as minimum restrictive. but with the charges, it would have been medium. But here it's automatically max.
And what are the other guys in for? Do you know?
They said most guys in here are for like gang snitches and sex offenders, and mainly people that have 20 years or more.
So people who were in for a long time and who would otherwise have a pretty hard time at a jail
Yeah.
for whatever they did, whether it be snitching or
Yeah, like, you know,
children or.
yeah, there's some people from other states here as well, and I guess there's a couple cops here too.
Okay.
Just things have happened, and they just don't think it'd be better. It'd be a lot better if they're here and not at another prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of jobs are available? I mean,
Well, it's like they'll probably have me at the kitchen, more than like that's where everybody starts out, like either washing dishes or like putting foods on the trays or helping pots and pans, something like that.
right.
But they have like libraries. They have like I think this is the PSU area, the psych area. So they'll have like different guys doing clerk stuff around here. I mean, they have over like 300 GP guys here that are like live here. So they have a job for every one of them.
Wow.
There's even a guy that shovels the sidewalks.
I think we saw him.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be that guy.
Not here.
Do you go to therapy? Do you see a psychologist?
There's actually the one her name's like Javier or something like that. She seems like once a month, and she's actually from Aurora.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. I walked in there, I saw a Bronco flag. I'm like, okay, who are you? But yeah, it's.
So does she give you therapy, or?
No, she just like talks to me just to see if I need anything, or if like if I need psych meds, or if I need anything like that, which I've declined all that stuff. But most people in my unit have meds. That's
Just to have them, or do you think they need them?
Well, it's like a special management unit. Like they just put me on there to keep me away from GP. And like most people either like just have like some type of medication they're on.
But you don't take anything.
No. They just keep me on there until the security advisor says, you can get moved to GP down the hall.
What kind of stuff, like food and stuff, do you miss the most from the outside?
Food?
Yeah.
Well, I know from, my last time in North Carolina, Bojangles, that was really good. I don't know if you guys ever go to North Carolina or no?
Is that barbecue?
It's chicken and biscuits. And that barbecue place down the street from Frederick PD. Forget what.
Smokehouse.
Yeah.
George Boys.
Yeah. Yeah, the burn ends. I miss that. And just I miss Dan's cooking. That's for sure. Like her spaghetti sauce and her fried pizza.
Yeah.
Fried pizza?
I don't think I've heard of that. What is that?
Never heard of that.
Her mom has, or I think it was her mom, her grandmother on her mom's side had this this dough, homemade dough you can make, and just make up the dough, and she would make it up with Bella and stuff sometimes, with like a little smaller one, but she would make the really big one, and then she would put it in the oven, the bottom oven, and let it sit there for a couple hours, not put it on or anything, just let it rise. And then once it's done, take it out, form it, throw the spaghetti sauce she has, and spread it around, and throw the mozzarella and pepperoni and put it on the oven 350. And
But what part of it is fried though?
well, they have some parts that you can put on the grill. You can put it on the stove too.
Okay.
It's really good. I mean, it's really thick.
Yeah.
So you got.
Apparently we need this.
Yeah.
Sandy.
I will work on that.
Yes. Write a note.
Yeah.
Are you able to stay out of trouble here?
Yeah. No.
Nobody's getting any fights? You're not getting written up for anything? You're not getting... Okay.
I try to keep a low profile here, so I don't want to. Because they say if you get like 2 contact reports, they'll ship you out if you work here. They don't want.
To another location?
Yeah.
Oh, so then does that incentivize people keeping their nose down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guess a couple guys got busted for having a cell phone.
Oh.
How they got it in?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like that stuff just baffles my mind how that stuff gets to.
I mean, they won't even let, like, if somebody sends me a letter and it has, like, someone sent me a Christmas card with glitter on it. They'll let me have it because it's glitter. Because, like, it's contraband. So, like, yeah, I don't know how people get cell phones and stuff in here.
So what do you do with all these letters that are coming into you?
Most of them, like, I just have, like, this. If somebody writes me once, I'll never write them. Just because I don't know, like, who they are, like, where they're from. I'll keep it. If it's like a weird letter, I'll straight up throw it away. If it's like a supportive letter, I'll keep it around, just like, a supportive letter. And then like I've had some people like write me like a second and third time, but they've changed the way they talk, or like they've said different things. Like there's like this dude in like California that wrote me. He's a senior in high school, and wrote me. He's like, okay, dude. I look up the name, like, okay, shred it up, threw it away. He wrote me again like 2 weeks ago. Totally different. Like, never mentioned like his age, never mentioned just saying like, hey, like I support you, I'm like all this, like that. Like if I didn't recognize his name, I would have known like he was just an 18-year-old kid, senior, trying to just like probably just get information. Trying to, because there's been like journalists and like other people like you can kind of tell, like, they ask a lot of questions. But I try to, like, take into effect who's writing me and, like, just not to respond. Like, I've responded to a few people just because, like, either my parents have talked to them on the outside and then I kind of know, okay, it's a real person.
Oh.
But, like, there's some people that, like, it seems like they're just trying, like, to get help for themselves, too. Like, some people ask, like, like just for spiritual advice.
They're asking for spiritual advice from you.
Yeah, like, if they're not asking about the case, I'll write them back. If they ask about the case, I don't write them back.
Yeah.
You think you'll be in love again? There's a lot of women out there that are in love with you.
No. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not the guy that's down the street or whatever it is. I've heard enough about that guy since I've been here.
What have you heard about him?
He got engaged over a letter.
He did, yeah.
That's pretty insane. But yeah, I don't see myself being in love ever again.
Do you have some ladies that are giving you a lot of, like, just telling you that they're in love with you and that kind of stuff?
Well, I've had a couple letters that have been like, I hear you get a lot of letters from lady friends that tell you all you need to know, and I'm like, I don't get those letters. Trust me. Like, I guess there was one letter in Colorado, someone sent me a picture of them in a bikini, and then it's like went on from there. That was like the only letter I ever got that was like that, but the press took it and just went with it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get requests from the press?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that work?
Just tear it up, throw it away.
So are you personally are declining?
Well, I don't like, kind of back.
Would they allow you to talk with them? Would they allow many here to talk with you?
I don't know. I guess some stations have asked to come in here and talk to me, but they have told them no.
Oh.
But I've gotten letters from Denver stations and whatnot wanting to talk to me. And then quotation marks off the record. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Anything I write.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just tear it up, throw it away.
Have you thought about, like, writing a book or anything like that?
No, that's, nothing like that. My mom and dad have been, sorry, what was it?
No, go ahead.
My mom and dad are saying maybe you should, write down, how you feel or, how you've been dealing with this type thing. Just write it down, and that would be my story. But I'm just like, I'm not writing a book. That's not me. I mean, I've always had a really crazy imagination. So, when I was a kid, I even convinced my teacher I went to Japan over the summer, or to China or something. But she said, you should write down, your story, how you've coped with this.
Why did you convince your teacher you had gone to another country?
It was just what you did over the summer. And I was like, oh, that's China. I'm start writing. And she actually believed it. I was really convincing.
So you're a smart dude.
Yeah. It was, and they, parent-teacher conference said, so how was China? I was like, what? Nope.
So earlier you were talking about how this experience you're going to want to help people. What do you mean by that?
So there's a couple letters that I've gotten. This one girl, she's in an abusive relationship, and she just can't find a relationship with God. And I never read the Bible before all this. In Weld County, I read it because
Right.
in the segregation hole there, it was that was the only book I got. And I was like, okay. I read it cover to cover, and I never thought I could, being how many pages were in the Bible, but it stuck with me, and like I've been reading it more and more here. Like I got a different version here. I've just been reading it and just writing down like a couple scriptures a day, like to give to my mom and dad. And they've been like making a little journal and stuff like that. And my Uncle Johnny and his wife Martha, they're actually missionaries, and one of my cousins is actually as well, and they've been helping my mom and dad. They've been they looked at a couple of my letters, and they were amazed at how mature I've gotten with like the Bible and everything, with Scripture. And it's just like one gift that I did get was a good memory, as far as like being able to memorize stuff, right? And like that's what happened with cars and with the oil foot. I can just memorize acronyms like that, and I've been memorizing a lot of different scripture. I can just kind of like help people that way. And just like there's been inmates that have left my unit and went to a different place and have written me just to ask, like, can you give me a couple of scriptures to help me through this? Like, do you know of any? And I can help somebody that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you get to go to school or anything?
They don't have any of those programs here.
Oh, they don't.
It's a evaluation prison, so they don't. I think this is when they have the sex offender class in here.
Mm.
That's the only thing they really have.
You can go to that?
No. No, I always ask, like, why do people go in there? And they're like, you don't want to go in that class. Like,
You stay away from that
okay.
class.
Like, okay. Yeah, that's the only thing they have here. But they have other, like, that's like the map of the prisons they have here.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier.
Oh, wow.
They have a lot here.
Yeah, like 3 right in this area.
Yep, they're around here. I was just amazed that one thing I did see out the window when there was like a neighborhood that's right next to the prison.
Yeah.
So just like, is that
Done the same thing.
yeah, weird? Because like in Colorado, it seems like they're all like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Right?
Sterling's in the middle, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Easy.
Well, we might take a little break right now.
well,
I think it's almost time for you to eat lunch.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
yeah, felt like the polygraph. Everything just like. I look up the time. I'm like, oh wow.
It's been 4 hours. Holy cow.
They might let us come back and talk to you.
Okay.
There might be a couple more things you want to go over. Is that something you're up for?
That's fine.
Okay. And then the other thing is, we might be back in a month and a year and 2 years, if you're up for it. Now that's way down the road, but I guess maybe in the back of your mind, just think about that. And I hope so far today's been all right for you.
Yeah, it's been. Honestly, when I walked in, I was just like, wait, I know these
Where do I
people.
know these guys?
I looked at you. I'm like that's not the site counselor. That's oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
They're Colorado people.
Because that's past that A&E sergeant. I was like, all right, who am I meeting? I go. It's not the A&E sergeant.
Yeah. So there's a possibility we might not make it back today. I just want to let you know, but we might. We really appreciate you talking to us.
Thanks for coming. Total took me off guard. I had no idea this was
Yeah.
happening. So.
Yeah. And again.